For the last 2 hours, heaven has been trying to get this to you. Archangel Michael confirms a private investigator was caught in something dark. Open this before it's hidden again. For the last 2 hours, something powerful has been happening in the unseen world. Heaven has been moving, aligning, and pushing through obstacles to deliver a message directly to you. This is not coincidence. It's not an accident. Archangel Michael himself has confirmed that this transmission, this divine alert, is for you, and you alone. This isn't something to brush aside. This is a spiritual summons. What you're about to hear has been suppressed, hidden, and twisted for centuries. But tonight, at this very moment, heaven has opened a door that cannot remain open for long. There are forces actively trying to block this message from reaching you. Someone, a private investigator, was caught in something so dark, so deeply rooted in secrecy, that Archangel Michael intervened to expose it. This person stumbled upon information not meant for human eyes, and in that instant, their fate changed. Archangel Michael, the divine protector and leader of heaven's army, stepped in, not just to shield the investigator but to deliver a warning to you. This is no ordinary warning. This is a call to rise above, to shield yourself, and to prepare for what is coming. This video is your key. Do not skip. Do not turn away. Because the secret you are about to uncover has the power to shift your life forever. In the next few minutes, we're going to go deep into the signs, the messages, and the reasons why heaven chose this moment to reveal the truth. By the end, you will understand why Archangel Michael has been fighting so fiercely to get this to you before it's hidden again. Type Amen 2549 to open your spirit to the first wave of blessings Archangel Michael is sending right now. And if you feel a stirring, a sense that this message is not random, type I receive 9911 in the comments to declare your readiness for divine protection. Stay with me until the end of this series. What you're about to learn will not only explain what's been happening around you, it will also give you the tools to shield yourself from the dark forces working in the shadows. This is not just a video. This is a spiritual lifeline. And if you're here, it means heaven has already marked you for protection. The next part will unveil the shocking truth about the private investigator, what they discovered, and why Archangel Michael needed to confirm it to you personally. You are still here, and that means heaven has already begun working in your life. Archangel Michael has ensured that your spirit is awake enough to hear this truth, and trust me, the truth we are about to uncover is not something you have ever been told before. For the last 2 hours, this message has been fighting through barriers, breaking through resistance, and defying attempts to silence it. You are not watching this by accident. This is the moment where the curtain begins to lift, and what is revealed will shake you to your very core. Archangel Michael has confirmed that a private investigator, someone whose life's work was to uncover lies and bring hidden facts to light, stumbled into something far darker than they ever anticipated. This was not just a matter of secrets in the physical world. This was a brush against forces of spiritual corruption. The investigator was following a trail, documents, coded exchanges, whispers in the shadows, when suddenly they encountered patterns and signs that were not meant for human eyes. At first, they thought it was coincidence, a series of random details. But as they pulled the threads together, it became clear these were not ordinary secrets. These were hidden rituals, orchestrated movements of energy, designed to entrap souls. And here is where it becomes shocking. Archangel Michael himself stepped into the scene, not to condemn, but to protect. Imagine how dire the situation must have been for an archangel to intervene in such a direct and forceful way. This was not just about one investigator's safety. It was about containing a spiritual leak that, if left unchecked, could have affected millions. Heaven needed a witness, and now, through this transmission, you are being made a witness. This is why you cannot turn away, cannot pause, cannot walk away before the end. The same darkness that tried to consume that investigator lurks around many lives today, disguised as harmless choices, distracting temptations, and whispers that seem innocent. The investigator tried to bring their findings to the public, but every attempt was blocked. Files disappeared, recordings were corrupted, and even their voice was silenced when they tried to speak. But Archangel Michael ensured that not everything was lost. Small fragments of truth were carried through, preserved, and handed to those who could receive it. That is why you are here. You are receiving not only the fragments but the confirmation that heaven itself is working to reveal this to you. Now I need you to do something powerful. If this message is stirring your soul, if you feel the weight of these words, take a moment right now and share this message. Comment below and let me know what you feel as you listen. This is how we make sure the truth continues to spread, no matter how hard the darkness tries to shut it down. By commenting, liking, and sharing, you are joining forces with Archangel Michael to keep the message alive. Do not underestimate the power of unity. What you do here can ripple out into the spiritual realm in ways you may not yet fully understand. Type Amen 7707 to seal your spirit with divine clarity. And if you are ready for Archangel Michael's sword of protection to surround your life, type I receive 4422 right now. These numbers are not random. They are markers of alignment, signals that tell heaven you are open and willing to be part of the unfolding plan. As we go deeper, you must know this. The investigator was not chosen randomly, just as you were not chosen randomly to hear this. The same way Archangel Michael moves through people's lives to ensure divine justice, he has moved in yours. By now, you may feel an unusual awareness stirring in your chest, or even a sudden realization about something that has been happening around you. Pay attention to that. The reason Archangel Michael fought so hard to get this message to you is because there are shadows in your own path that heaven wants you to see before they overtake you. This is why you must stay until the very end. The investigator's last recorded entry, which was almost erased, contained a chilling sentence. They wrote, "What I have found is not just hidden from man. It is hidden because it belongs to something not of this world." That line alone was enough to trigger Archangel Michael's intervention. He knew then that if the investigator were left to continue alone, the consequences would be devastating. And so, the burden was shifted. The truth would not be carried only by them. It would be delivered through this divine channel, through this exact moment where you are listening now. Do not let the ordinary world distract you from the extraordinary reality unfolding here. This is not a story. This is not just information. This is a lifeline. The investigator saw what few are ever allowed to see, and because of that, heaven has now marked you as a receiver of this sacred transmission. That is why it is urgent that you not only listen, but carry it forward. If you silence yourself, the darkness wins. But if you speak, if you share, if you stand, then Archangel Michael's sword of truth slices through the lies that try to bind humanity. Remember, there are forces that do not want you to hear the rest of this. They will try to distract you, to make you click away, to tell yourself it's too much. But Archangel Michael says, do not let go. Stay until the end, because the final revelation carries the key to your freedom. That is what waits for you in the final part of this series. That is the treasure hidden behind the shadows. but you can only reach it if you stay with me. In the next part, I will reveal exactly what the investigator uncovered, the coded patterns that connect the physical world to the spiritual darkness, and why you, specifically you, need to hear this now. This is not for everyone. It is for those chosen by heaven, and if you're still here, that means you are one of them. You have stayed. That means the veil is thinning for you. Archangel Michael's wings are not just hovering over this message. They are wrapping around you as you read these words. The reason you feel a pull inside your chest right now is because heaven knows your name. You are not a casual observer. You are not a bystander. You are part of the unfolding. And what you are about to hear is not only shocking but rare. These are the very notes the investigator left behind before being silenced. These notes were hidden, protected, and then revealed at the right time, which is now. The investigator, whose name must remain hidden for their protection and for yours, worked in secrecy for over a decade. They were not looking for the supernatural. They were following the money trail of a powerful organization that claimed to be philanthropic but was in fact funneling resources into something else. And first, it looked like just another case of corruption. But then, oddities began to appear. Codes embedded in financial records, ancient symbols scribbled in margins, meetings scheduled at dates that matched obscure occult calendars. It was as though every thread led back to the same hidden altar. The investigator began to suspect they were not just uncovering crime, but uncovering a ritual, one designed to manipulate not only people but reality itself. One night, around 3 a.m., the investigator recorded an audio note that later became a key piece of evidence. Their voice shook as they whispered, "It's not what I thought. This isn't money laundering. This is summoning." In the background of that recording was a sound, a low hum, almost like a vibration. Experts who later heard it could not identify the source. It was not from the room. It was not from any electronic interference. It was something else. That was a moment Archangel Michael intervened. He cut through the veil, reached into the chaos, and marked the investigator. And through that mark, a message was sent to heaven. The darkness had crossed into the open. Archangel Michael does not act without reason. When he moves, it is because the stakes are beyond human comprehension. What the investigator had discovered was a network of rituals that used coded signals hidden in plain sight. Symbols in advertising, dates in news cycles, even frequencies in certain broadcasts. All of it designed to weaken spiritual defenses. When Archangel Michael saw this, he ensured that some of the information would make it out before it was destroyed. Those fragments are what you are hearing now, and you are not hearing them by chance. The notes described a series of gateways being opened, not physical doors but energetic ones. These gateways allowed influences from one realm to slip into another, unnoticed. The investigator believed that the organization was not acting alone but was in partnership with entities that were never human to begin with. They wrote in their final entry, "If I disappear, know that I was not afraid. Know that heaven is watching. Know that the light wins, but it needs witnesses. You are now that witness. You are not simply learning, you are being positioned. If you are still here, it means Archangel Michael is aligning you with protection. Type Amen 6116 to anchor yourself under his shield. Type I receive 8080 if you are ready for the next wave of divine clarity. This is more than words. This is a ritual of alignment between your spirit and heaven's power. When you do this, you declare to heaven that you are present, aware, and unafraid. The investigator's notes also mention something else, something that directly concerns you. They wrote that the information they found was not just dangerous because of what it revealed, but because of who it revealed. Certain names, certain faces tied to positions of power appeared again and again. And with those names came connections to ancient texts that spoke of Archangel Michael's battles that were never written in full because humanity was not ready. Until now. This is why Archangel Michael is confirming this to you. Because the fight you are about to see unfold is not one you can observe passively. It requires awareness, prayer, and the sword of truth. Right now, you may be feeling something, a warmth, a tingling, or even a sense of heaviness. That is not coincidence. That is your spirit adjusting to the reality of this message. The investigator once wrote, "The hardest part is convincing people this is real. They want to think it's fiction. They want to think it's a story. But the story is writing itself around them. Do not let that be you. Do not let the shadows lull you back to sleep. Stay awake. Stay here. Because at the end of this series, I will reveal the key the investigator left behind. The key that Archangel Michael himself confirmed is your spiritual protection against what is coming. You may think you have heard stories like this before, but you have not. This is not rumor. This is not entertainment. This is testimony. And testimonies carry power. The investigator's testimony now lives in you. It is a flame that will not go out. The same way heaven had been fighting for 2 hours to get this message to you, heaven hath been fighting for years to keep these notes alive. Now you are holding them. You are reading them. You are stepping into the role of a witness who will not be silenced. Do not be afraid. Darkness only thrives when unrecognized. Once revealed, it begins to dissolve. That is what you are doing by staying. You are participating in its unraveling. The investigator's hidden notes are not just words. They are seeds of light. And when planted in a receptive heart, they grow into shields of protection. That is why you are here. That is why Archangel Michael called you here. This is the moment where your spirit begins to remember who you are and why you are not afraid. In the next part, I will reveal exactly how these coded signals were embedded into everyday life, how the organization tried to slip their influence through unnoticed, and how Archangel Michael plans to expose and neutralize it. This is where the patterns become visible to you. This is where you begin to see through the veil yourself. Stay with me. Do not click away. What is coming in part 4 may shock you, but it will also empower you. You stayed. That alone is a sign that you're not just a listener but a seeker. Archangel Michael is not only watching, but also guiding your eyes right now, preparing you to see what most cannot. This is the part where the curtain is pulled back, where the quiet patterns that have been moving around you are revealed. This is where you begin to see through the veil for yourself. And I must warn you, once you see, you can never unsee. But in seeing, you gain power, and heaven stands ready to shield you. The investigator's note spoke of coded signals that were hidden in plain sight. These are not obvious. They were placed in ordinary things: logos, advertisements, entertainment, and even the timing of certain public announcements. At first, it looked like coincidences, patterns of numbers and dates repeating. But as the investigator documented more, the picture sharpened. It became clear that these were not coincidences at all. They were deliberate. Each signal was a marker, a spiritual calling card of a hidden ritual. The investigator wrote, "They are not hiding from the blind. They are hiding in front of the blind." Consider this. Have you ever noticed the same strange number appearing on different things around you? Clocks, receipts, license plates, timestamps. The investigator found that many of these numbers matched dates of ancient rituals and events described in texts that predate modern religion. They believed that these signals acted as openings, small doorways of agreement, which, when unnoticed, allowed influence to pass from one realm to another. Archangel Michael confirmed that these doorways are real but can be sealed by awareness and prayer. That is why you are here now, to see the patterns and close the doors. One of the most striking examples in the investigator's files involved a major global event. The timing of its announcement, the symbols used in its promotional material, and the numerology behind its chosen date all lined up with an obscure ritual described in a text from over 1,500 years ago. No one had noticed. No one had connected the dots. But the investigator did. And the moment they tried to publish their findings, the information disappeared. Emails were wiped, documents corrupted. But small fragments survived, and those fragments are what you are hearing now. Archangel Michael says this: once you see, you are no longer bound. Seeing breaks the cycle. Awareness severs the agreement. That is why heaven has been pushing this message through to you for the last 2 hours. Not to frighten you, but to free you. Because freedom begins with seeing. If you are feeling the weight of this truth, type Amen 3773 right now to anchor your spirit in clarity. And if you are ready for the next wave of heaven's protection, type I receive 6060 and know that Archangel Michael's shield is surrounding you as you read these words. This is also the moment where you must act. If this message is stirring something deep within you, do not keep it to yourself. Share this now. Comment below what you feel. Like this so that it spreads. This is not about numbers or algorithms. It's about piercing the darkness with light. Every like, every share, every comment becomes a spark that multiplies in ways you cannot imagine. Darkness thrives in silence, but light grows in testimony. By sharing, you become part of the movement Archangel Michael began the moment he intervened for the investigator. The investigator also wrote about how these coded signals were designed to keep people distracted, numbed, and unaware. Think about how often you're flooded with noise, meaningless news, endless scrolling, constant stimulation. All of that, the investigator suggested, is part of a larger plan to drown out the still, small voice of truth. And yet, here you are, reading, listening, feeling that voice inside you grow louder. That is not an accident. That is a breakthrough. Archangel Michael's intervention means that the signals are now being exposed. They cannot control what is revealed in light. That is why heaven has chosen you to hear this. You are being trained to discern, to see patterns, to protect not just yourself, but those around you. This is bigger than you. This is your initiation into a truth that very few have been allowed to carry. But with truth comes power, and with power comes responsibility. The investigator's final warning about these signals was simple yet chilling. The more they repeat, the weaker your guard becomes. That's why awareness is not optional. It's essential. The moment you see a pattern, name it. Speak it out loud. Call on Archangel Michael to cut it off. You are not helpless. You are armed with knowledge and with heaven's army at your side. If right now you're thinking, this feels like it's speaking directly to me, that's because it is. Heaven's messages are always personal. They don't just hover in the air, they pierce the heart. And your heart is receiving this right now because you were meant to. You are not random. You are chosen. The same force that guided the investigator to uncover the truth has guided you to receive it. Archangel Michael also left a message through the investigator's notes. Do not fear the exposure. Fear only the silence. That is why I'm telling you again. Share this. Comment what you feel. Like it so that it spreads. It may seem like a small act, but it is not. It is a declaration. It is a strike of light against the shadows. You may feel your body reacting, tingling, warmth, chills. That is your spirit aligning with this revelation. That is heaven's confirmation. Do not ignore it. Lean into it. Because the next part of this series is where the connections become undeniable. You will see how these patterns and signals intersect with your own life, your own choices, your own moments. And in that intersection lies your freedom. Remember, what you are learning is rare. Few are shown this. Even fewer accept it. You are in a position of rare blessing. Archangel Michael is not just protecting you, he is preparing you. And the preparation is almost complete. In the next part, I will reveal how the coded signals you've just learned about are not just global, they are personal. How they've been showing up in your life unnoticed. And how, once seen, they lose their power. This is where the message shifts from exposure to empowerment. This is where you begin to reclaim the ground that has been taken from you. Stay with me. Do not click away. Because what comes next could change the way you see everything forever. You've stayed through this far, which means your spirit is not only listening but awakening. This is the point where the message stops being distant and starts being personal. It's one thing to hear about coded signals hidden in logos, numbers, and global events. It's another to realize those same signals may have been brushing against your life all along. Archangel Michael has made it clear that this is not about fear, it's about awareness, because awareness is the first strike against darkness. The investigator's notes ended with a stunning realization. After years of following symbols and patterns on a global scale, they began noticing those same numbers and signs appear in their personal life. Visits, clocks, random encounters. Even the words of strangers seemed to echo phrases from ancient texts. At first, they thought it was paranoid, but the more they tracked, the clearer it became. These weren't coincidences. They were hooks, small attempts to draw the investigator's attention and energy away from truth and into confusion. The investigator wrote, "The closer I came to exposing the network, the more it reached for me." You might have experienced this too. Seeing the same strange number on a clock, hearing a phrase repeated in different places, experiencing dreams that feel like warnings. These are not random. The investigator confirmed that many of these hooks are small doorways. They only work if you ignore them, or worse, if you let them into your mind without naming them. But the moment you see them, name them, and call upon heaven, the doorway closes. The power dissolves. That is why Archangel Michael is showing you this now. It's time for you to see what's been hiding in plain sight. Archangel Michael is not a distant figure. He is the leader of heaven's armies, yes, but he is also a guide who steps into human lives with precision. He fights for truth, for clarity, and for the protection of souls. When he intervened for the investigator, it was not just to save one life, it was to prepare many. You are one of them. This is not a casual encounter. This is a calling. If you're feeling a sense of recognition right now, like something inside you is clicking into place, that's because your spirit knows this is true. Heaven does not waste time. The fact that you are still here, reading these words, is evidence that Archangel Michael has already been moving in your life. This is not new. This is confirmation. Type Amen 9229 now to anchor yourself under his wings. Type I receive 4441 if you are ready to sever every hook that has been trying to pull you away from truth. When you type these numbers, You're not typing random digits. You're signaling heaven that you are awake, aware, and willing to step fully into protection. The investigator's final personal entry was deeply moving. They wrote, "I began to pray the moment I saw the hoax in my own life. That was when the darkness started losing its grip. It couldn't hide anymore. It couldn't touch me. That is the pattern you are stepping into now. Once you see the hooks, name them, and invite heaven into the space, they lose their power. The light becomes stronger. Archangel Michael has given specific guidance for this moment. It is simple but powerful. Name what you see, call on my name, and it will break. This is not superstition. This is not ritualism. This is authority. Heaven's authority given to those who are awake. You don't have to live under patterns of confusion, anxiety, or heaviness. You can close those doors. And it starts with awareness. Think back on your own life for a moment. Have there been repeating patterns that made no sense? Numbers, Sybil, unusual coincidences. Times when things seemed to line up against you, but you couldn't explain why. That was not random. That was a network trying to reach you. But now, as you read this, that network is unraveling. Every word you take in is like a sword cutting through cords you didn't even know were there. Archangel Michael is using this moment to show you the path out. The investigator discovered something else, something rarely spoken of. They found that the coded signals lose their strength when people share their testimonies. This is why heaven fights for voices to rise. Because silence keeps darkness strong, but testimony multiplies light. This is why you're being asked to see, to speak, and to share. You are not powerless. Your voice is a weapon. Your awareness is a shield. Archangel Michael's message to you is this: you were born for this time. You were born to see and to stand. That's why this isn't frightening. This is freeing. The investigator thought they were alone, but they weren't. And neither are you. Heaven surrounds you even now. Take a deep breath. Feel the weight of the message. Feel the warmth that's starting to rise inside you as you read. That is not just emotion. That is your spirit lifting. That is Archangel Michael's presence confirming to you that you are not imagining this. You are not alone. The investigator's files ended with a final prayer. It wasn't long. It simply said, "Michael, cut every cord." That's it. And heaven answered. Doors closed. Patterns broke. Fear lifted. And now that prayer is being extended to you. As you read this, as you type the blessing numbers, as you allow your spirit to open, Archangel Michael is cutting cords you didn't even know were there. This is not a theory. This is not a performance. This is a moment of breakthrough. That is why heaven has been fighting for 2 hours to get this message to you. Because the hooks don't belong in your life anymore. This is your moment to step into freedom. Stay with me. The next part will take you deeper into what happens after the hooks are broken. You will learn what to expect as the patterns dissolve, how Archangel Michael continues to guide you, and what your role is in protecting not just yourself but others around you. This is where the message shifts from exposure to empowerment, from awareness to authority. Do not click away. The next part may be the most important yet. You've come this far. That means you're not just hearing this message, you're stepping into it. Something has already begun shifting inside you. As you've named the patterns, prayed the prayers, and typed the blessing numbers, invisible cords have started to loosen. You may have already felt it, a lighter chest, a sudden calm, a strange sense of clarity. That is not your imagination. That is what happens when Archangel Michael cuts through the cords of hidden influence. This is the part where your life begins to change. The investigator wrote that once the hooks were broken, everything felt different. It was as if I had been living in a fog for years, they wrote. Then, overnight, it lifted. The colors were brighter. My thoughts were clear. I started remembering things I had forgotten. My instincts sharpened. That is what happens when the interference stops. You begin to see with your own eyes again. You begin to feel with your own heart again. Your soul realigns with heaven's rhythm. And for the first time in a long time, you feel free. Archangel Michael's role doesn't end at cutting the cords. His role as a protector is also to equip. Once the hidden influences lose their grip, a space opens up in your life. That space must be filled with light. Otherwise, the world will try to fill it again with distraction and noise. This is where empowerment begins. Michael's sword doesn't just cut, it clears a path. And that path leads to clarity, direction, and spiritual authority. The investigator described the first days after their breakthrough as a season of heightened perception. They began to notice opportunities they had missed before. Their relationship shifted. People who drained them started drifting away. New connections came, unexpectedly, with people who uplifted and strengthened them. This is not magic. This is alignment. When the cords break, your life begins to attract what matches heaven's plan for you instead of what matches the old hooks. If you're starting to feel small shifts already, unexpected peace, sudden coincidences of good things, a hunger for truth, that's because the same process is happening to you. Archangel Michael has begun to fill the cleared spaces in your life with light. It's important now to nurture that light. Pray. Speak words of truth. Surround yourself with people who strengthen your spirit. This is your season of restoration. Type Amen 5335 now to anchor this new season in your life. Type I receive 7997 if you are ready for Archangel Michael not only to protect you but to equip you. When you do this, you're signaling to heaven that you are stepping into the next level, from being rescued to being empowered. The investigator also recorded something astonishing. After their breakthrough, they began to receive guidance in dreams and quiet impressions during the day. These weren't dramatic visions, they were subtle nudges, small ideas that turned out to be exactly what they needed at the right time. Archangel Michael often speaks this way, not by overwhelming you, but by aligning you. You may find this happening to you too. Sudden clarity about a decision, a sense of peace about a choice, a warning that helps you avoid something harmful. Pay attention. These are signs that the protection is active. There is also something else you should be prepared for. The investigator noticed that after the hooks were broken, certain challenges appeared. Not because the darkness was winning, but because it was losing. When light expands, shadows move. Old habits, old fears, or old temptations may try to return. This is not a sign you failed. It's a sign you're winning. You are no longer asleep. You are aware. And with awareness comes the ability to stand your ground. That's when Archangel Michael stands closest, reinforcing you. Archangel Michael's message to you in this moment is, do not fear the testing. It proves the sword has struck. The challenges that arise now are not punishments. They are confirmations. You are shifting realms. You are no longer under the same patterns you were before. And the more you stand, the stronger you become. The investigator called this stage the season of reclaiming. They began to reclaim time, reclaim energy, reclaim confidence, reclaim relationships. They started doing things they had once been too afraid to do. They stopped apologizing for seeing what others could not see. And slowly, their life rebuilt itself around a new foundation. That is what is coming for you. This is your season of reclaiming. And Archangel Michael is not just protecting you, he is walking you through it. You may already feel a stirring of boldness rising inside you, a sense that you don't have to hide anymore. That's not just emotion. That's authority. That's the power of heaven moving through you, preparing you to stand. You're not just a listener anymore. You're becoming a witness. And witnesses carry light. Take a moment now. Breathe deeply. Feel the shift. Say quietly, Michael, fill the space you've cleared. This simple prayer opens the way for the light to take root. And once it takes root, it grows fast. The investigator wrote, "The growth surprised me. I thought it would take years. But the moment I opened my mouth to ask, it began." That is how quickly heaven moves when you are ready. Archangel Michael's presence is not bound by distance. He stands where truth is spoken. He guards where light is welcomed. Right now, even as you read this, you are under that guard. You are stepping into a reality where the patterns no longer control you, where your life begins to reflect heaven's order instead of hidden chaos. This is the point of no return. You cannot unsee, but you also cannot be unseen. Heaven sees you now, clearly, fully, and with love. Remember this, empowerment is not about fear. It's about clarity, courage, and calling. You have been chosen to hear this because your calling requires it. You are not just being protected, you are being prepared. The next parts of this series will show you what to do with this empowerment, how to protect others, how to guard your home, and how to move forward without fear. Stay with me. The next part will be even more revealing. It will show you the tools Archangel Michael has placed in your hands, spiritual tools you can use every day to strengthen the shield around you and those you love. Do not click away. What's coming next is practical, powerful, and rare. This is where you begin to wield the light you've been given. If you're still here, it's because you're ready. By now you've been awakened, your cords have been cut, and the fog is beginning to lift. This is where your journey shifts from merely receiving protection to using it. Archangel Michael does not only fight for you, he fights with you. He equips you to stand. And in this part, you will learn about the tools he places in your hands. Tools that are not symbolic but real. Tools that change the atmosphere of your life and your home. The investigator's final files were not just warnings. They were instructions. After their breakthrough, they began documenting practices that seemed to seal the freedom they had gained. These were not rituals in the dark sense. They were spiritual disciplines, actions of alignment with heaven. The investigator wrote, "When I began using the tools Michael gave me, the atmosphere of my home shifted. The heaviness left. The night terror stopped. People who visited said they felt peace as soon as they entered." These tools were simple but powerful, and they are available to you too. The first tool is speech. Your words are not neutral. They carry weight. The investigator discovered that when they began to speak words of light out loud in their home, the unseen atmosphere shifted. Michael stands where truth is spoken, they wrote. This is why prayers spoken aloud have such power. When you speak them, you mark territory. Your voice becomes a declaration. Darkness cannot stand in a place that is marked by words of light. This is why you're being invited not just to think but to speak. Say your prayers. Say your declarations. Fill your space with words that align with heaven. The second tool is naming. Earlier, you learned about naming the patterns you see. This is not just about observation. It's about authority. When you name something, you remove its cloak. You expose it. Darkness thrives in secrecy but dissolves under recognition. The investigator practiced naming every pattern they noticed in their thoughts, their dreams, their surroundings, and then calling on Archangel Michael to cut it. A name called Cut, they wrote. It's simple. It works. This practice closes the doorways that were opened without your permission. The third tool is cleansing your space. This is not superstition. This is stewardship. The investigator began playing spoken words of light and truth in their home. He played them softly while they slept. They opened windows, prayed at thresholds, and spoke blessings over every room. I thought it was symbolic, they wrote, but the atmosphere literally changed. This is because your home is not just a structure, it's an environment. Environments hold energy. When you invite light in, it fills the space. When you speak blessings over it, it becomes a fortress. Archangel Michael walks through homes where light is welcomed. He stations his guard there. Tap Amen 3203 right now to claim these tools for your own life. Type Iris C 5505 if you're ready to begin sealing your home and your family with light. These numbers are not random. They are heaven's markers, signals of your agreement. When you type them, you're stepping into active alignment with these tools. The fourth tool is awareness of timing. The investigator noticed that many hooks and signals showed up at specific times, especially when they were tired, distracted, or vulnerable. This is why it's important to build habits of light at set times. Pray before you sleep. Speak blessings in the morning. Establish a rhythm. The darkness thrives on chaos, but heaven moves in order. When you establish order, you create a rhythm where light flows naturally. Archangel Michael will meet you there. The fifth tool is testimony. You've heard this before, but now you're ready to use it. Your story, even your small moments of breakthrough, are weapons. When you tell someone about your freedom, it multiplies. It strengthens your shield. It weakens darkness's hold. The investigator wrote, every time I told my story, another chain fell off. This is not exaggeration. This is a principle. Testimony multiplies light. And finally, the sixth tool is inviting Michael by name. This may sound simple, but it is powerful. The investigator wrote, I didn't know I could just say his name. But I did. And he came. Michael is not a ghost or a superstition. He is a real archangel whose mission is to guard and guide. When you invite him, you are not summoning. You are aligning. You are acknowledging his presence. And in that acknowledgement, his protection manifests more fully. This is why you're being asked to speak his name. Michael, guard this house. Michael, guide my steps. This is not ritual. It's relationship. If you're feeling a shift right now, a sense of peace, a warmth, maybe even a tingle in your hands, that's confirmation. Heaven is active. These tools are not abstract. They are working even as you read this. You are stepping into a life where your space, your mind, and your family are no longer open to hidden influences. You're building a fortress of light. And Archangel Michael is stationed at the gates. The investigator described the transformation this way. Before, I felt like prey. After, I felt like a guardian. That is what is happening to you now. You're not just protected, you're becoming a protector. Your home is not just safe, it's becoming a sanctuary. and from that sanctuary, light will spread outward to others. Take a moment to imagine your home filled with light. See Archangel Michael's presence at your doorways. Hear words of truth echoing through your rooms. Feel peace settling over your family. This is not fantasy. This is reality when you align with heaven's order. And it begins now. Stay with me, because in the next part, I will reveal how to extend this shield beyond your home, into your work, your relationships, your community. This is where your calling begins to impact others. You're not just learning to protect yourself. You're learning to bring light into places that desperately need it. This is your assignment. This is why you were chosen to hear this message. Do not click away. The next part will show you how to step into influence, how Archangel Michael equips ordinary people to carry extraordinary light into dark places. What you're about to learn could change not just your life, but the lives of those around you. By now, your life has begun to shift. You've learned to see the hooks, name the patterns, invite Archangel Michael, and guard your home. The atmosphere is changing. The fog is lifting. This is no small thing. But Archangel Michael's work in you was never meant to stop with you. Heaven's pattern is always the same: protection first, then preparation, then sending. This is the part where you become more than a protected soul. You become a carrier of light. The investigator's final notes contained a revelation few have understood. He wrote, "I thought my battle was only for myself. But the moment I was free, others around me began to change. It was as if my freedom created a ripple." This is not poetic language. This is a principle. Light multiplies. When you seal your home, when you speak words of truth, when you invite Archangel Michael, your life becomes a fortress. But that fortress does not remain isolated. It begins to radiate. And that radiation begins to soften and break the hooks in the lives of others who come near you. This is what Archangel Michael is inviting you into now, not only to live free, but to help others find freedom. This doesn't mean preaching at them. It doesn't mean forcing your beliefs. It means living in such a way that your presence becomes a shift. People will start to say things like, "I don't know why, but I feel calm around you," or "something about you feels different." That is not coincidence. That is heaven's light extending outward. The investigator noticed this effect in their workplace first. They had been working in an environment full of tension and competition. But after their breakthrough, the tension didn't seem to touch them anymore. They began speaking quiet blessings over their desk, over their workspace, over their meetings. "Michael, guard this place. Michael, guide my steps." Within weeks, the atmosphere shifted. Conversations became less hostile. Problems began to resolve more quickly. Even people who didn't believe in anything spiritual commented on the change. This is what it means to extend the shield. You can do this too. At your job, quietly speak blessings over your space. When you walk into a room, say under your breath, "Michael, stand here." Before you answer an email, whisper, "Guide my words." These simple practices turn ordinary spaces into guarded territory. You're not being dramatic. You're aligning. And when you align, the unseen shifts. Type Amen 8858 now if you are ready to extend Michael's shield beyond yourself. Type I receive 7474 if you want heaven to begin radiating light through you into every environment you enter. These numbers are markers of agreement, signals of readiness. When you type them, you're stepping into your assignment. The investigator also found that relationships began to heal. They wrote, "The people who drained me drifted away, and the ones who stayed began to soften. This is because light exposes motives and grows sincerity. You don't have to push people out of your life. Light will naturally do it. People aligned with truth will be drawn closer. People aligned with manipulation will step back. This is not loss. This is protection. Archangel Michael's invitation to you is simple. Begin to speak blessings over the people you interact with. Don't announce it. Don't make a show of it. Just quietly, in your heart or under your breath, say, Michael, stand with them. Cut every cord around them. Bring them clarity. You will begin to see changes. Conversations that once ended in conflict will find resolution. Opportunities will open. People who were once hostile may soften or reveal their true intentions. This is the ripple of freedom. The investigator called this stage living as a lighthouse. They wrote, I didn't go out to fight darkness anymore. I just stood, and the light did the work. That's what Archangel Michael is preparing you for. You're not being asked to be a warrior in the shadows. You're being invited to stand in light so bright that the shadows retreat on their own. You may feel a sense of hesitation right now. Am I ready? Can I really carry this? That's normal. The investigator felt it too. But Archangel Michael's presence does not depend on your perfection. It depends on your willingness. Willingness is the door heaven uses. If you're reading this, you're already willing. You've already said yes with your actions by staying this far. Heaven knows you by name. Michael stands with you. You are ready. There is a principle at work here that is older than time. Light spreads. It doesn't strain. It doesn't force. It simply shines. And in shining, it changes everything around it. This is why Archangel Michael equips you. Not so you can go into battle trembling, but so you can stand without fear. The hooks cannot attach to a person who stands in light. The patterns cannot persist in an atmosphere saturated with truth. You are learning to carry that atmosphere everywhere you go. Imagine your workplace, your relationships, your community. Imagine them under Michael's shield. Imagine your steps guided, your words clear, your presence calm. This is not fantasy. This is the reality you are being prepared to live. The investigator saw it. You will too. And when you do, you will know that what you're carrying is not just for you. It's for others. This is also the stage where your calling begins to clarify. The investigator wrote, as the noise left my life, my purpose became clear. You may find new ideas coming to you. You may feel drawn to help someone, start something, or speak truth in a specific way. Pay attention. This is how Michael guides you. He doesn't just protect you, he positions you. And remember this, you are not alone. You are part of a growing movement of people who are waking up, who are seeing, who are standing. Every time you use these tools, every time you extend the shield, you are joining an unseen army of light. And Archangel Michael stands at its head. Take a moment now. Close your eyes. Say quietly, Michael, extend the light through me. That simple prayer opens a flow. It's not dramatic. It's not ritualistic. It's relational. And heaven responds. You'll notice it in small ways at first. A shift in tone, a new sense of peace, a surprising opportunity. But over time, the change becomes undeniable. Stay with me, because in the next part, I will reveal the signs that you're truly walking in this extended light. The markers that show you Michael's shield is active not only over you but through you. This is how you'll know your assignment has begun. And once you recognize the signs, You'll never doubt again that heaven is moving in your life. You not click away. What's coming next may be the most affirming part of all, the proof that you're no longer just protected but commissioned. You've come a long way. You've learned to see the hooks, to name the patterns, to guard your home, and to extend Archangel Michael's shield beyond yourself. You're not the same person who began this journey. Something in you has shifted, and heaven knows it. You're no longer only protected, you're beginning to carry protection. You're not just standing under the shield, you're becoming part of the shield. And this is where you start to see the signs, the undeniable markers that Archangel Michael is moving through you, not just around you. The investigator described this stage as the dawning of authority. They wrote, "At first, I thought I was imagining it. Small things began to happen around me. Conversations changed. Coincidences multiplied. It was as though the environment itself was bending toward peace. This is the first sign. The atmosphere around you starts to shift. People may comment on how they feel when they're with you. Situations that normally spiral into chaos calm down in your presence. This isn't luck. This is light. This is what happens when Archangel Michael's shield extends through you. The very air you walk into begins to take on the imprint of heaven's order. Another sign is clarity. The investigator wrote, "I began to know things before I knew them." This wasn't psychic or sensational. It was subtle and steady. Intuition sharpened. Choices became easier. Distractions lost their pull. This is the second marker. Your decisions start to flow with ease. Doors that are right for you open. Doors that are wrong for you close. You're no longer wandering. You're being guided. Archangel Michael's presence clarifies your path because confusion is one of the hooks of darkness. And once it's gone, clarity becomes your normal state. The third sign is what the investigator called divine intersections. People start crossing your path at exactly the right time. You may feel drawn to speak a simple word to someone, and it turns out to be exactly what they needed to hear. Opportunities arise for you to help, to comfort, to guide. This isn't because you've become special, it's because you've become available. Michael's shield is flowing outward, touching others through you, aligning their lives just as it aligns yours. This is how you know your assignment has begun. Your freedom starts to free others. Type Amen 6306 if you're ready to walk fully in this stage. Type I receive 2772 if you're ready to let Michael's shield flow through you into others. These numbers mark a deeper alignment. When you type them, you're not typing digits, you're stepping into commission. The investigator also noticed something important about this stage. As the light extended through them, some relationships changed dramatically. People who had always been comfortable around them suddenly pulled away. Others, who had seemed distant or cold, started drawing closer. This is the fourth marker. Light rearranges your circle. Don't be surprised if some people fade from your life. This isn't rejection. This is protection. Archangel Michael clears space so the right people can come near. The investigator wrote, "I stopped chasing. The ones who were meant to stay stayed. The ones who weren't left on their own." Another sign is courage. The investigator described waking up one day feeling unexplainably bold. "I didn't care what others thought anymore. I wasn't afraid to speak truth, even gently. Fear was gone." This is the fifth marker. Fear loses its hold. You stop hiding. You stop apologizing for the light you carry. You begin to live openly, without shrinking. This isn't arrogance. This is freedom. Michael's shield does not make you louder. It makes you stronger. It gives you a quiet confidence that cannot be shaken. The sixth sign is peace in chaos. Life will still bring challenges. People will still be unpredictable. But instead of reacting with panic, you'll notice a calmness inside you. The investigator wrote, "Storms didn't scare me anymore. I carried my own weather." This is the moment when you realize that Michael's shield isn't only about defense, it's about presence. His presence inside you becomes your stability. Even when the world swirls around you, you stand. You may already be feeling these markers, small but unmistakable shifts. People noticing a difference in you, a new steadiness in your decisions, a sense of guidance where before there was confusion. That is not coincidence. That is commission. You are being marked not just as a protected one, but as a carrier of light. This is your assignment beginning to unfold. Archangel Michael's message for you in this moment is, stand. Shine. Do not retreat. He's not asking you to take on burdens that aren't yours. He's asking you to live in the light you've been given. As you do, others will feel it. They'll be drawn to it. And without even trying, you'll be helping to break the hooks in their lives too. This is how heaven multiplies freedom, one awakened person at a time. The investigator's final journal entry described a vision. They saw a long line of people holding small flames. Each flame touched the next until the entire horizon was lit. "I realized my flame wasn't mine," they wrote. "It was Michael's. I was just holding it. That is you now. You're holding a flame that isn't yours. It's heaven's. And as you hold it, it will touch others until the horizon around you begins to glow. You may feel overwhelmed at this thought. Being a carrier of light. But heaven chose you not because you're perfect, but because you're willing. Willingness is all Michael needs. Your assignment isn't about grand gestures. It's about simple, steady light. Your words, your presence, your prayers, your space. These are the tools. This is the commission. Take a moment now. Breathe. Say quietly, "Michael, let your shield flow through me." This prayer signals your readiness. It opens the flow. You don't have to force it. You don't have to understand it. You only have to allow it. The investigator wrote, "I stopped trying to make it happen. I just let it." That's when the real change began. Stay with me, because the next and final part of this series is the culmination. It's where I reveal the key the investigator left behind. The final piece Archangel Michael confirmed. This key is not just information. It's an impartation. It's the moment where everything you've heard comes together and locks into place. This is where you step fully into the light you were born to carry. Do not click away. The final part contains what heaven has been fighting for 2 hours to get to you. It's the gift that has been hidden and preserved for this exact moment in your life. You've walked through every part of this message. You've seen the hidden patterns, named the hooks, guarded your home, extended the shield, and begun to recognize the signs of your assignment. This is no longer just a story. This is your life. And now we arrive at the final piece, the key that the investigator left behind, the key Archangel Michael confirmed. The investigator's final message was not a list of instructions. It was a single sentence, written in shaky handwriting at the bottom of a page. It read, "The key is remembrance." They explained in their notes that the darkness's greatest weapon is distraction and forgetfulness. If you forget who you are, you lose your authority. If you forget what you've been shown, you slip back into the fog. But remembrance keeps the door to light open. Remembrance anchors you. Remembrance is the key. Archangel Michael confirmed this truth. He said, what you remember, you carry. What you carry, you live. What you live, you give. In other words, the light you've received cannot be lost as long as you remember it. Every prayer you've spoken, every pattern you've named, every moment of clarity you've experienced in this journey, keep them alive in your memory. Speak them. Write them. Share them. That is how you hold the key. This is why you were asked again and again to stay, to not skip, to engage. Because by staying, you were remembering. And by remembering, you were aligning. Heaven fought to get this message to you for 2 hours, not to frighten you, but to anchor you in remembrance, to seal you with the sword of truth so you can stand, shine, and multiply the light you've been given. Type Amen 9191 now to seal this journey in your spirit. Type I receive 2020 if you're ready to hold the key of remembrance and carry this light forward. These numbers are not random. They are heaven's markers that your journey has been completed and your assignment has begun. Take a deep breath. Feel this moment. You are not who you were when you started. The fog is lifting. The hooks are gone. The shield surrounds you. And the light now flows through you. You've been awakened, equipped, and commissioned. This is the point of no return. Not into darkness, but into destiny. From this moment on, every time you remember what you've learned, you strengthen the light. Every time you speak it, you extend it. Every time you act on it, you become a living fortress. That is the legacy Archangel Michael has placed in your hands. And that is the message heaven has been trying to deliver to you all along. This is your moment. You hold the key.